Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm very, very
Welcome.
excited to be here. Very excited to speak and talk to everyone today. Before I get started, I do have a presentation to share with you all about the Middle East and why the Middle East markets for Amazon is potentially a great place for you to start selling if you don't want to go through all of the bureaucracy and taxes that you find in Europe. Sorry, Nick, but that's the truth. So I'm going to give you a little bit more information. But before I get started and before I share my screen, for everyone that's watching us live, do let us know where you are currently watching us from and what time is it for you now. For me, it's 9:15 and or almost 9:13, and I am based in Dubai. Where are you now, Nick? You're in Sofia. You're in Bulgaria, correct?
No. I'm on the
Oh,
beach. No, that's my
you're on
summer
the
spot.
beach.
No. Yeah, no,
But you're in Bulgaria.
yeah, I'm Bulgaria. Yeah, so it's like 8,
Yeah.
13
Hey,
p.m. right now. Oh,
yeah, yeah. There's only a little bit of difference between us, not a lot.
yeah, I thought that it
Mm.
was like few more hours, but I guess I didn't know that as
No,
well.
now in summer, no. In summer, there's not a lot of difference. I need you to enable me so that I can share my screen, Nick, please.
Yeah, just give me a second.
Sure. Oh, Yanni is also in Bulgaria. Wonderful. محمد نعم كل الجلسة رح تكون باللغة الإنجليزية.
Yeah,
So
can you share now?
I got a question from Muhammad who's asking, yes, I can, thank you.
Okay.
So for everyone that's asking, yes, we will be speaking in English. So let me get started. You can see my screen, Nick, right?
Yes, it's your screen.
I believe so. Perfect. Thank you so much. So guys, let me get started by talking about my main topic is unlocking Amazon in the Middle East. The cool thing about Amazon and the thing that I love the most is that you've got so many different marketplaces to choose from currently. And it's very much dependent on what you want as a business or as a new seller, even. You can fine tune your business to whichever marketplace that you think is best for you. There's no better marketplace, like one is not better than the other. If you're still at a point where you're thinking, oh, which Amazon marketplace should I sell in? Anyone, any Amazon marketplace, just get started. So you need to get started. But here, I want to give you a little bit more of a perspective as to why we're so passionate about the Middle East. If you are currently in the Middle East and you're thinking whether or not this is a good marketplace for you, or if you're thinking of expanding, if you're a European-based business or a US-based business and you're looking for a new market to enter into that has a lot of potential and is what is known as quote unquote emerging market, then this is the market for you. Now, with that being said, hold on. So this is the overview of the region for anyone that doesn't know. I'm just going to give you a small geography lesson. So I always say the Middle East as a market is very much similar to the United States of America, but instead of states, we have countries. That's the only difference. So it's made up of a lot of countries. But one thing to note, if you are not aware, like I said, Amazon does have a lot of marketplaces, and those are not all of them, but some of them. I believe they constantly are adding new marketplaces nowadays, but this is how these marketplaces, this is where you can sell currently on Amazon. Now, this is where it becomes interesting because of a lot of sellers ask me, so I'm selling on Amazon in the UAE. Can I sell my products on Amazon UK directly from the UAE? This is where it becomes slightly complicated. So on Amazon, you've got something known as unified Amazon accounts. So if you are an Amazon US seller, for example, that is an account that is unified under North America, United States, Canada, and Mexico. Same thing for Europe. However, a marketplace like Amazon Japan has no unified Amazon account, so it's a standalone marketplace. And even though Amazon UAE, Amazon KSA, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, for those of you that don't know, and Amazon Egypt, even though they are under the Amazon Middle East umbrella, they are not unified, meaning they are completely separate markets, and you cannot cross-sell from Amazon UAE or products over to Amazon US without opening an Amazon US account. Now, with that being said, the core of the Middle East are these countries, KSA, Oman, UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, and Kuwait, because we have something known as the Gulf Cooperation Council, or the GCC. More on that in a few, and why this might affect your Amazon business or Amazon in general in the region. But this GCC Council, for anyone that's not from the region, I just want you to imagine that it's something very much similar to the EU system of how countries are managed or are cooperating together. So I jumped into it without introducing myself. For anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Crystal, and I'm the founder of two companies very much similar in names, because we're not very creative in names. We're creative in other things. But our companies are called Amazon Sellers Society and Sellers Society. We've been supporting sellers since 2017 on all Amazon marketplaces. But in 2019, we decided to start focusing 100% on the Middle East markets. We are an Amazon certified service provider, and we're very excited to say that we are one of the leading service providers in the Middle East. We are also the only Arab-based or female-founded, which is myself, I'm the female founder, as well as Middle Eastern, which I am, by the way, a company that is part of Google for Startups in Europe, also part of Startup Estonia. So this gives us a lot of access to the latest tools and the latest technologies. What do we do as a service provider? Not only do we love to share information about how it is to sell on Amazon as a new business, and definitely on Amazon in the Middle East, but we are also an Amazon, what is known in the business as an Amazon account management agency. So we support things like Amazon management, listing optimization, strategies to grow your business, anything and everything related to the Amazon platform. Now, anything else, we have a lot of partners, just like Nick. We have incredible partners that we work with in order to set up things for you, like warehousing, logistics, shipping, importer on record, VAT, anything and everything that you require in order to sell on Amazon and to enter into the Middle East market. We're here to support you. Now, with that being said, I always refer to the Middle East market as a blue ocean. And that's not because we've got incredible beaches. No, there are incredible beaches in a lot of different places in the world. But blue ocean is something related to a business term. Not sure if you've heard about it before, but there is a book called Blue Ocean Strategy. And this book was created by two authors I'm going to tell you in a minute. And this goes through how your business can be in a blue ocean. So the concept of this is it applies to anything. It applies to business, or it applies to an actual product that you're selling, in this case on Amazon. In this case, we're going to apply it to which market you decide to sell on when it comes to Amazon. So what a red ocean market basically means is you are selling in a cutthroat market with cutthroat competition and a highly saturated market. Whereas a blue ocean market doesn't have a lot of competition, and it's still an emerging, uncontested market. So let me put it into something that's easier for you to remember or easier for you to understand. You know, game consoles such as the PS5, all of those game consoles, there's so much competition. And here comes Nintendo with its own version of a gaming console known as the Nintendo Wii. The Nintendo Wii is a game console, but at the same time, it's a blue ocean because it's unlike any other game console with how you use it and you play around with it. Now, you can sell a product in a blue ocean market, or you can decide to create a product like Nintendo Wii to be a blue ocean product. I don't want to make things difficult for you, so I'm going to help you sell in a blue ocean market rather than help you come up with or invent a product. These are the creators of the Blue Ocean Strategy. They're actually finance professors. This is W. Chan Kim and Rene Maubourg. They both are professors in INSEAD University, where I went. This is me, where I went and I studied the Blue Ocean Strategy in the Blue Ocean Strategy Institute in INSEAD University in Fontainebleau in France. And by the way, INSEAD is one of the top business schools in the world with multiple campuses. And in France, they have one campus that is completely dedicated to Blue Ocean. Now, can anyone think about an example of a Blue Ocean product? I already gave you an example. I'm going to give you another one. But if you can think about a Blue Ocean product, just look around and look at the products that you are using every day. And let me know if you can think about a product and type it in the chat. If you can't, this is a product. Now, potentially for Nick and anyone that doesn't live in the Middle East, you probably don't know what this product is. But this is a product that was invented by a very well-known coffee company called Najjar, very well-known in the Middle East for Arabic coffee. And they created this machine, which previous to having this machine, you needed to do Arabic coffee very much like these Italian coffees, Nick, where you have to do it on open flame and on gas, and it would take so much time. So they created this to be a machine very much similar like the Nespresso machines as giving you pods, but it's a different type of coffee. So this is an example of a Blue Ocean product. But again, not only are we going to be talking about this, we're going to be talking about why the Middle East, because the Middle East is a Blue Ocean market. Now, let's talk about some numbers, because numbers are making data-driven decisions is exactly what you need to be doing when you are doing anything when it comes to business. So an intelligence report and a lot of numbers show that the market in the Middle East, as you can read, e-commerce market size is expected to reach 27 billion by 2025, which has grown almost 10 billion from 2020. So in such a small time frame, the market in 2020 reached 17 billion, and in 2025 is expected to reach 27 billion. So very, very fast growth. And what you will discover from this presentation is that we have three main markets that are thriving, and I'm going to tell you three main markets or three main countries. I'm going to tell you which ones those are. But not only do we have Amazon in the Middle East, we have a lot of other marketplaces. Some of them are based in Turkey, like Trendyol, very well known. And now Trendyol has also entered the German market. Very, very strong marketplace. But we also have marketplaces like Noon and definitely Amazon in Saudi Arabia and other marketplaces as well. So if you're thinking of starting your journey in the Middle East, you don't only have to be on Amazon. You can also potentially later on or from the very beginning expand to different marketplaces, so it makes a little bit more sense. Now, what about categories? What are the top categories of products that are selling in the Middle East? You'll find this is very similar and very in line with categories throughout the e-commerce space. Fashion is a very strong category in the Middle East with pulling in 38%, electronics, and then toys. Those are very strong categories. But that doesn't mean if you don't sell those types of products or if you don't intend to sell these types of products, that the Middle East is not a good market for you. One very cool metric that I always like to talk about is how much online grocery shopping is like expanding like crazy. So 73% of regional consumers are likely to shop for their groceries online versus 58% last year. And the average global market usually shops 50% of the time. In the Middle East, people like to buy their groceries online at 73% rate, very, very high. Now, what is the future of e-commerce? The reason why we see e-commerce is expanding so quickly and why this is an emerging market is that if you look at any statistic related to internet usage, related to social media usage, you'll find that the Middle East has the highest numbers out there. Internet penetration is very high throughout the Middle East. Internet usage is also very high. And as you can see here, internet penetration is close to 100%. Like, imagine that. And 80% of users already buy through the internet. Now, they might not be buying on Amazon all the time, but they have bought something online via an application, or maybe even something on Instagram. So people are used to purchasing online, plus they use the internet a lot. Like, it's a win-win situation. Now, back to our numbers and back to the market itself. In the Middle East, we've got three main countries that make up 80% of the MENA's Middle East, North Africa e-commerce market. And those countries are the UAE, Saudi Arabia, as well as Egypt. They make up 80%. Now, this is where Amazon is as well. Is it a coincidence? Maybe. Amazon also has three marketplaces, one for the UAE, one for Saudi Arabia, and one for Egypt. They started in the UAE back in 2019, and the last marketplace they opened was in Egypt in 2021. They also announced back in October of 2021, this is still a beta program, unfortunately, but they announced a program called Middle East FBA Exports Program, which basically intends for all of the countries in the Middle East, for us as sellers to be able to sell to all of those additional countries, which makes things very, very interesting and makes things definitely very important for you as a seller, because not only do you want to sell in one market, you want to sell all over the markets. Now, let me give you a general idea about the market size. So the market isn't that big because the population of the countries isn't very big. So the population of the UAE in total is about 10 million. However, traffic on Amazon marketplaces is almost 19 million per month. So very, very high traffic compared to the population of the country. Same thing for KSA and Egypt. And this is to show you what the traffic of these marketplaces, UAE, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia, in comparison with other marketplaces, which are definitely a little bit more established because they've been part of Amazon for a much longer period of time. But for example, UAE is pulling in more traffic than Poland, Sweden, Singapore, as well as Belgium. Now, what about the demographics? So this is very interesting because anyone I speak to in the Middle East normally thinks that it's females that like to purchase online. Women are the ones that are purchasing the products online. However, the data shows, and the demographics are mostly male. It could be that the female is the one that's making the decision, but it's men that are pulling the trigger and they are purchasing, with 67% of men. And it's always between the age of 25 and 35, which is the best age for anyone that's selling products online. 76% of men purchase products online in the UAE, in KSA, sorry, and 75 in Egypt. And it's always that age demographic. 18 to 24 is a strong age demographic, but 25 to 34 is the best age demographic. And these numbers are pulled from similarweb.com in case you are interested. Now, also one thing to let you know is this is where it shows you how easy it is for you to become an Amazon seller in the Middle East, especially if you have an established business somewhere else. So if you are a European-based seller, if you are a US-based seller, and you want to come into the market, you want to test it out as quickly as possible, you do not have to have a local entity. You don't have to go through the whole process of setting up a local business in the UAE, as an example, or even in Saudi Arabia. You can get started by simply being a company or an individual that resides or has a company in any of those countries. And as you can see, those are primary countries. So if you are somebody, for example, who has an established business in the UK, you're already selling on Amazon and you want to come into the UAE, you want to test it out, you don't want to set up a whole business and do all of that, you can use your UK LTD to get started on Amazon in the UAE. It's as simple as that. Same thing for Saudi Arabia. It's a smaller set of countries, but still very, very flexible. However, for Egypt, currently Egypt is a market that is solely open for Egyptian companies or individuals. So you will need to set up an Egyptian company. Now, what are the benefits of expanding to the Middle East if you want to get started in the Middle East or if you want to expand to the Middle East? Because I think most of you here are potentially already selling in Europe and you're looking to expand to a new market. First of all, the growing economy. The Middle East economy is growing extremely rapidly and providing opportunity for businesses. Most of you know this, and anyone who knows the region knows this. However, potentially the region might have come on your radar ever since the World Cup and what happened in Qatar, which showed how emerging and strong economically the region is. Now, like I showed you earlier, the market is expected to grow 11.9% from 2020 to 2025, which is a great growth when it comes to e-commerce. Now, there's also a very high demand. There's high demand across the board because this is a new market, but also there is high demand for luxury goods and products at high quality products, especially in countries like the UAE, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. And if you are selling these types of products, so this is an incredible marketplace for you to get into. Also, the government is creating a lot of support for, especially for foreign, as well as local, of course, but especially for foreign investors and anybody that wants to get into the market here. It's already very well known that taxes are very easy to move around in both the UAE and Saudi Arabia, but also there are a lot of tax incentives that are currently in place and going to be in place soon, especially to promote foreign investment. Now, like Nick said, there is a few barriers to entry. It's not always roses. There are always negatives and positives. So I don't want you to just think everything is fantastic. Of course, one barrier to entry is the fact that there's not a lot of reliable software. There are some reliable softwares, but not a lot of them. And if you're used to making decisions purely based on data that you find from these tools, you're going to find that not a lot of tools currently work in the Middle East. Helium 10 does, but any other tool currently does not. I think it's just a matter of time, but when it's going to happen, nobody knows. Also, one thing to note is that as great as the market is, it is also somewhat small, which would be a positive thing, but at the same time, it's somewhat small, so you do have a limited customer base. Not only that, when it comes to competition, I find that competition is very easy to manage. However, when you're competing with other sellers that are very new to the market, it's potentially a little bit of a problem, because if they're new, they might do mistakes that might affect you. Some of those mistakes would be related to increasing in bidding on PPC ads. We also find that there are a lot of Chinese sellers and wholesalers, but I think that's something that you find in most markets because Amazon in the Middle East is a newer market. There's more of them, so you are going to be potentially, it's not like there's no competition, but there is a different type of competition that you might be than what you might be used to. Let's talk about, obviously, policies and seller limitations. It might not be the same policies that you're used to on Amazon in the US, for example. So you do really need to look into what policies are required for you to sell things like anything under the health and beauty category, baby products, as well as consumables for the Middle East market, and what additional requirements are needed for you to be able to import those goods into these countries. And that's about it. I think I took a lot of time. I'm sorry, Nick, if I took a little bit longer, but I really love to talk about this. If you have any questions, please do reach out to us. This is our website, assmiddleeast.org. You'll find a way to send us an email, to book a call with our team, anything you need related to information about selling on Amazon in the Middle East. Very happy to help and support.